And now he goes after cancel culture. And as the most uncancelable comedian alive, he might be the only one who can get away with this.
I'm against cancel culture. Thank you. That's my impression of a shit comic trying to get on Rogan. In 20 years of stand-up comedy, I've been asked the same questions over and over and over again. The question I get asked the most by far is, Anthony, what do you think about cancel culture? Does it make you mad? Aren't you scared? What do you think about cancel culture? So let me be clear. I don't give a fuck about cancel culture. What I am sick of are comedians complaining about cancel culture. It's not that hard. Do your job. Comedians are supposed to be unparalleled badasses. I know this because I have a fucking mirror. Cancel culture is not scary. It's also not interesting, and it's definitely not new. Back when I was in college, I had this crazy professor. Made all of his students fill out their own suicide note. Then he would read them out loud to the rest of the class. As soon as the parents found out, he got fired immediately. And I was the only one who stood up for him. Because, hey, he made math fun. And yes, I did mention Joe Rogan. Guys, do not get me wrong. I like Joe. Joe's my friend. Joe's a good guy. But if you listen to his podcast, you're a fucking loser. My brother-in-law is Joe Rogan's biggest fan. Never misses an episode, doesn't think 4 hours is long enough. But my brother-in-law is Joe Rogan's target demographic. My brother-in-law is a conspiracy theorist. A crazy conspiracy theorist. Like, my brother-in-law refuses to become an organ donor because he swears that if you get into an accident and the paramedics see that you're an organ donor, they won't try to save your life because they want to use your organs to help someone else. It's insane, but I can't argue with him. He's a paramedic. Another question I've been asked a million times in the last 20 years. Anthony, what's your favorite joke you've ever written? It's easy. The first one. 20 years ago when I started doing this, I started from nothing. I was nothing. I was just going around to open mics in Los Angeles, performing for bitter open mic comedians who never reacted to anything. I was just trying to find my voice. Could I be good at this? Could I make it a living? And it took a while. Until one night, I went to a coffee shop, tried this joke out for the first time, changed my whole life. I said, guys, my girlfriend loves to eat chocolate. She's always eating chocolate, and she likes to joke she's got a chocolate addiction. She's like, keep away from those chocolate bars, I'm addicted to them. And it's really annoying. So one day I put her in the car, and I drove her downtown, and I pointed out a crack addict. And I said, you see that, honey? Why can't you be that skinny? And I will never forget telling that joke for the very first time to a room full of bitter, open mic comedians who never reacted to anything. And the whole room just went, ooh. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a fucking star. And then, of course, a couple years later, I got my big break. And I got to do some roasting. Got to roast Donald Trump, Charlie Sheen, Roseanne Barr, all the greats. People still ask me, Anthony, which one was your favorite? Charlie Sheen. But not because of Charlie Sheen. I didn't give a fuck about Charlie Sheen. I remember a couple days before that roast, I'm at home writing jokes. I get a phone call from the network. They say, Anthony, I knew you have a couple days left to write, but we just added Mike Tyson to the dais. Will you be able to write yourself any jokes about Mike Tyson? 2 days later, I am walking into that roast with 100 jokes about Mike Tyson. I am so excited. And right as I go to sit down, a guy from the network comes back and goes, Anthony, I'm just double checking with you. You don't have any Mike Tyson rape jokes, do you? And I said, why? And he said, well, listen, it was almost impossible to get Mike Tyson to agree to appear on a televised roast. We had to promise him there would be no rape jokes. I was like, are we talking about the same Mike Tyson? So now the roast has begun. I'm up at the podium, cameras are rolling, I have 0 jokes about Mike Tyson.
Bruh.
And I am mad about it. But out of the corner of my eye, I can see Mike Tyson sitting on the stage. Mike's been drinking. Mike's been smoking. Mike's laughing at everything. Mike's responding to jokes that aren't even about him. Mike Tyson was having the time of his life. So I think, you know what? I can do one. So I said, I think Mike Tyson's biggest problem is Mike never had a strong male role model growing up. Mike's dad walked out on the family very early on, after Mike raped him. Now, as soon as I tell this joke, I regret it. I am afraid. And I turn to look at Mike Tyson to see, is he coming at me? Am I about to die? And I just see Mike Tyson throw his head back. And he goes, ha ha ha, he got you, Charlie. Guys, in 20 years of stand-up comedy, I have gotten to meet so many famous people. Haven't given a fuck about any of them. Except for one, and that was Norm McDonald. Long before I ever even considered becoming a comedian, I worshipped Norm McDonald. He was my hero when I was a kid. He's still my hero today. Never got to meet him for the longest time. And then a couple of years ago, I get a phone call from my agent. And he says, Anthony, how would you like to be the new host of Last Comic Standing? And I said, why the fuck would I want to do that? That show sucks. And he said, well, this year it's going to be different. This year they have Norm McDonald as a judge. Would you like to work with Norm? And I signed up on the spot. Norm and I made 8 episodes of this TV show together, 8 straight nights of 8-hour tapings every night. And for the first 4 episodes, Norm McDonald and I do not get along at all. We get into fights every night on the air. We get into fights every night backstage. We flat out do not like each other. And it's killing me. He's my hero, and the only reason I took this job. So for those first 4 episodes, I am working at it, and I'm working at it hard. Norm's working at it too, just not nearly as hard. But after 4 episodes, for whatever reason, something clicks. Finally, Norm and I are laughing together, we're getting along, it's all I've ever wanted. After the show was finally finished, Norm and I had to go and promote it. And the last time I ever saw Norm McDonald, we are backstage at Larry King. I'm getting interviewed first and then Norm. Right before I got there, Norm says to me, hey, Anthony, I know we haven't always gotten along or seen eye to eye, but if you're up for it and you trust me, I thought of something really funny that you and I could do together. I said, oh my God, Norm, of course I trust you. You're my hero. Tell me what you want to do. He says, I think it'd be really funny if instead of promoting the show by talking about these other comedians, why don't you and I just promote the show by publicly insulting each other? He says, don't even try to be funny, Anthony. Just be mean. And I said, you know what, Norm? I can do that. I sit down with Larry King. Larry King says, Anthony, what do you think about Norm Macdonald? And I said, Larry, Norm Macdonald is a piece of shit. And I can hear Norm laughing backstage. I finish the interview, I go backstage, Norm is still laughing. He says, Anthony, that was perfect. Now watch this. Norm sits down with Larry King. Larry King says, Norm, what do you think about Anthony Jeselnik? Norm says, Larry, he's one of the greats.
Bruh.
I've never been more pissed off in my entire life. Can't believe I fell for that. All right, you guys have been an amazing crowd tonight. I'm going to leave you all with this. This is my new closer. Don't worry, it is trans-proof. About a month ago, I went to a wedding. Craziest wedding I've ever seen. After the ceremony, every single person there took Molly. The bride took Molly. The groom took Molly. The parents, the grandparents, every single person there was on Molly. Craziest shit I've ever seen. I blacked out around midnight. Woke up the next morning in a fucking hammock somewhere. Went and found the bride and groom, and I was like, hey guys, did I do anything embarrassing last night? And they said, yeah, Anthony. You spiked the punch with Molly. Thank you very much, Milwaukee. Have a great night. Thank you.
The man built his whole career on saying what others won't, and he's still standing. Subscribe if you respect that.